All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about something that's absolutely crucial for anyone who works with data. We're going to explore how to move from being a passive consumer of information to becoming a confident, critical data detective.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. The data you're looking at every day, is it really telling you the whole story? Because what you don't see can often have the biggest impact. You see, in our world, data is behind almost every single decision. But just taking it at face value without asking any questions, well, that can lead to some seriously costly mistakes. Imagine you act on an incomplete sales report. You could send your entire strategy in the wrong direction. That's exactly the kind of crime scene we want to help you avoid.
So let's start by digging into this first key area, understanding the very real dangers that come with placing blind trust in data.
Now, the solution here isn't to just mistrust everything. Not at all. It's about building what we call data confidence. Think of it as a healthy skepticism, a mindset that's all about understanding your data on a much deeper level so you can make truly informed decisions.
And this is where you put on your detective hat. I mean, a good detective doesn't just glance at the evidence and call it a day, right? No way. They question it. They look for what's missing, and they dig deeper before they ever close the case. That's the exact approach we need with our data.
So, you're ready to step into this new role. Awesome. But how do you actually do it? Let's break down what it really takes to become a data detective.
Every great detective needs a toolkit, and yours has 3 absolutely essential instruments inside: questioning your sources, understanding the context, and spotting those sneaky gaps and biases that can lead you astray.
So let's pop open that toolkit and take a closer look at each of these tools, starting with the first and, arguably, the most fundamental one.
First up, question the source. This is ground zero for any investigation. You should always be asking, who actually created this data? Is this source trustworthy? Is this data from last week or last year? Because believe me, outdated info can completely throw you off. Just getting into the habit of checking where your data comes from builds a solid foundation for everything else.
Next is understanding context, and this one is huge because the same word can tell 2 completely different stories. For instance, if the marketing team talks about engagement, they probably mean clicks, likes, and time on a page. But talk to the sales team, and engagement means demo requests and filled out forms. If you don't know that context, you're basically interpreting the data all wrong.
And our third tool is all about spotting gaps and biases. Let's say you see a customer survey, and the results look fantastic. But what if you find out it only included your younger customers? Well, then you're completely missing the perspective of everyone else. That data gap creates a distorted, flawed conclusion.
Okay, so we've got the tools, now let's see them in action. We're going to open up a quick case file, a real story of how a team turned data doubt into a powerful insight.
So, here's the scenario. A team noticed that sales for a key product seemed to be declining, but the numbers just felt inconsistent, a little weird. Instead of panicking, they went into detective mode. They started digging, and you know what they found? The issue wasn't the product, it was the data itself. It was riddled with reporting errors and was missing entire chunks of information from one region. Once they fixed their methods and filled those gaps, the real picture came into view. And it turned out sales were fine, and the real insight was that they needed to focus their strategy on a whole different group of customers.
And that's the perfect example of what we're talking about. That initial doubt wasn't a dead end for them. It was the starting line. It pushed them to investigate, correct their course, and build a winning strategy on a foundation of data they could finally, truly trust.
So, how do you make this a part of your daily routine? Let's talk about putting these skills into practice right now.
Think of this as your new code of conduct. First, trust your data, but always verify it. Second, make asking questions your default setting. Third, remember this is a skill. The more you practice, the sharper you'll get. And finally, the most important rule, don't wait. Start today.
And please remember this key takeaway. Adopting this healthy skepticism isn't about slowing things down or creating roadblocks. It's actually an accelerator. It makes your decisions stronger, more reliable, and ultimately way more successful.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Your new role as a data detective starts now. Look at the data in front of you and decide, what question are you going to ask your data today?